Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Wrath of the Righteous with me, Ragadan. Let's head back to camp and buy an item. I also want to swap out Obrick for Darren.
I'll take care of it.
And the Bookworm's Headband. This headband grants its wearer a +2 enhancement bonus to intelligence score, but more importantly, and immunity to all compulsion effects. That's a very important effect for where we're going. However, it also inflicts a -2 penalty to charisma score and a -3 penalty on all persuasion skill checks. So we will be giving this to Sela. Typically, we wouldn't want to reduce her charisma score, but in this case, the benefits outweigh the negatives.
I'm gone.
And let's make sure that Lan has... he does. Swarmbane Clasp. The Bearded Quartermaster gives you a friendly nod. What can I do for you? How are things in the camp? Amade be praised, everything's fine. We're well supplied, nobody's going hungry, and the sick. Well, you can't run a military campaign without somebody getting sick. But they aren't taking up any more beds than usual. Except, and this is true, when I was in the military, anytime you moved a large amount of people anywhere, for instance, a deployment, we got what was called the crud. And it would just pass around to everybody would get sick. It's just what happens. Now, the Quartermaster looks at the mound of equipment bearing the signs of recent tinkering. We're having a little problem with the soldier's gear. The army has a standard that dictates who gets what. Except this standard is only good for fighting around Canabras. Needless to say, the conditions inside the World Wound are completely different. The scouts have been complaining. The local vegetation is like razor blades, they say, and it's slashing the soles of their boots to ribbons. Their cloaks might protect them from the cold, but they're useless against acid snow or caustic mist. The scouts are missing plenty of vital gear. A coil of rope is a simple thing, but there's not even enough to go around, can you imagine? How are they supposed to scale mountains with no rope? So I've been thinking, what if we issue them different equipment? The scouts at least. I'm afraid boots and ropes alone won't be enough, but the scouts on horses provide everything they need. Now that you mention it, the horses are faster and can carry plenty. I'll see to it, Commander. I'll immediately write to Canabras and ask for experienced mounted scouts. We're getting ourselves a cavalry. Let's go and rest up while we're here. Oof. Stopping at last. I'm weary after today. For 100 years, all I did was sleep. Now after 1 day's running around, I fancy another nap. It also comes with old age.
We do it my way. My skills are absolute.
There they are.
You require my
Gotta get haste
unbiased
out real
opinion?
quick.
This will be quick.
Fall! I will bring down the divine
The
wrath!
light take you!
Now, air, orma.
Eternal Rose, I call upon you!
Note written in neat handwriting. Come to my camp if you want to talk. I have much to share with you. A friend. Drawn on the back of the note is a map with cross lines marking a spot.
Follow if you dare.
That's old Krennoc. Not a huge fan of the character, but it is what it is. We'll go talk to him and explore the dialogue. I'm not particularly looking forward to it.
I'm off. I am never wrong.
Alright, before I forget... Yes, no equipment. Alright, Leper Smile. This canyon cuts through the ground like an open sore. The uneven stones of its cliffs are covered with pits and outcroppings, like the cankered skin of a leper. In the depths of the crevice, there are dark burrows leading somewhere deep into the earth. Let's go ahead and rest up here. We'll probably do cooking soup, or sorry, onion soup. Stop cooking here and combine the words. Yeah, so onion soup. Eating an onion soup, be an onion soup, not a onion soup. Provides you with a +1 cooking bonus on all saving throws for a day. Also Nadia's favorite dish, so see what her bonus is from it. Every companion has a favorite dish. It might be 2 of them. I think Kingmaker, every companion had 2 favorite dishes, and they provided an extra bonus. I've been ruminating on recent events, especially the story of Staunton Vane, and I've come to realize something. Life is the most precious thing we possess, and yet, not every form of existence has the right to call itself life. I was waiting and waiting for the punchline, the sting in the tail, but it didn't happen. Count, are you feeling alright? Yeah, Darren and Lan get along pretty well. Same with Darren and Woljif. Oh, I didn't change the meal. Whoopsies. That's alright. Danger and distress rest heavy upon the scales, their measures soaring on the perilous march to Dresden. The army moves steadily along the bank of the West Selen, scarred with canyons and ravines. Suddenly, a group of scouts returns, and Nevia, the leader of the group, makes 2 urgent signs to the soldiers. Wait and quiet. She dashes through the ranks, to the commander who awaits her report. We're in trouble, she whispers. The road ahead is split by a canyon. To get to Dresden, we have to go down and then up the other side. But the canyon is swarming with foul creatures. Vescavors. A real pain in the neck. They won't shy away from our soldiers' weapons. They've already managed to gobble someone up. looked like a caravan of refugees from Canabris that lost its way. No one has ever reported Vescavors so far from the center of the world wound. Where did they come from? Nevia bites her lip. They still haven't noticed us, but that won't hold true for long. Maybe if we retreat quietly. The commander makes a sign for her to stop. Find out what else is known about the enemy. Those nasty little critters, they can ruin your gear and drive you nuts with their buzzing, Nevia says in a rush. They got a queen, the mother of the whole swarm. She's a right horror, but if we kill her, the bulk of the swarm will scatter. We'll take care of the rest of them somehow. After hearing his scout's report, the commander prepares to convene a council to determine a plan of action. The commander and his companions convene a field council. The army cannot march around the obstacle, for there is no other road. Retreat is far too risky. Should the swarm notice the army and catch it out in the open, no one would survive. None utters the word trap, but fear hangs in the air. A swarm of omnivorous beasts just happens to be in the army's path. Someone has arranged this for their own nefarious ends. Rustling, grating, squeaking, humming. Everyone hears the voice of the swarm, though the sky before the army remains clear, for now. How long until it is darkened by the flying spawn of the abyss? An idea, a decision, straight and sharp, like a soldier's sword, appears in their minds. The Crusader Council grows grim. One unit must act as live bait to lure the swarm out of the canyon and clear the path to the Vescavor Queen. The commander will rush the monster, killing her quickly, before the swarm decimates the army. They will get but one chance. A dark question looms. Who will lead the fateful squad and be consumed as bait? In moments of extreme stress, one often says one thing while meaning quite another. These hidden words often reveal many a curious thing. And what do we see here? Irbeth nobly states, I'm an officer, best suited for the mission. But in truth she means, I cannot burden another with my responsibility. Donald, send me. The historian emerges with an unexpected suggestion from behind the commander's back. This is just the sort of situation where ingenuity and knowledge of the enemy will be more useful than swords and armor. While she speaks, she thinks, I need to prove myself. The queen is yet to disclose her presence, and watches quietly from a distance. The commander thinks that he should look into the faces of your companions. The Hell Knight Regil steps forward. My people will fight to the last, even as the swarm tears through our armor and strips the flesh from our bones. But his motives are plain. My superiority over the Crusaders would not permit me to cower behind them. I've eaten so many bugs in my life, it's only fair to give them a chance at revenge. The mongrel land hides his fears in plain sight. I'm a dead man walking already. A life such as mine is worthless. And silently he begs for more. Sacrifice me, or give me a chance to prove myself. The ones who distract the swarm will need a healer. Socio is the only one who speaks plainly. A healer might bring a few through the Vescavors alive. The rest of the council remains silent, and the silence is filled by a chorus of, there are others better suited, and the commander needs me alive. Does the commander hear these unspoken words? What will they lead him to decide? The fabled troop will be led by... So Socials is one of the better options. I think... Was it Lan or Regil? Well, we're bringing both Lan and Social, so I think I'll send Regil. I've done Irbeth and Nura before. I don't know if I've done Regil, so we'll select Regil. The commander and his party disappear among the rocks, preparing to slip down into the canyon, while the swarm is distracted by their bait. A tile to Nevia shows the way. Behind them, the final preparations are being made. Plus Regil's the only one, well, besides Irbeth, that has experience leading a unit, so having him lead the distraction makes more sense too. Except for we do know he will sacrifice troops, if he needs to. The face of Parallax to Regil is hidden by his helm, as are the faces of his troops. But Hell Knights can radiate disdain even through their plate armor. They march forward boldly, holding torches and vials of acid in place of blades. The soldiers tread fearfully down the road toward the dark edge of the canyon ahead. The rift that yawns open before them whispers, rasps, rattles in thousands upon thousands of voices. Vescavors gather below, but the sky is open above them. The flying creatures might rise up and attack at any moment. The soldiers soon find the first body, the mangled corpse of a refugee from Canabris. A few straggling Vescavors wriggle inside the dead man's gaping chest. Tiny larvae and greenish shells, all shuffling legs and hinging jaws. They don't seem menacing at all. But then, the rasping noise stops for a moment, and a high vibrating noise pierces the air with new force. A blur of a blackish green cloud rises above the canyon. The swarm has taken the bait. The time to act has come. The leader of this fateful squad shouts that they shall fight to the bitter end. Arrogance plays a cruel joke on the paralictor of the Hell Knights, as he prepares to fulfill his promise to stand firm, even as the swarm tears the flesh from our bones. These are precisely the orders he's given his troops. The swarm falls upon them like a raging storm. Hell Knights are better armored than regular soldiers, and some are even wearing adamantine. Some have vials of acid, which can wound and deter Vescavors for a time. But the beasts are beyond number, so many that they cannot but find openings in the armor and wriggle their way inside. While one insect is burned with acid, 5 others circle and strike. A moment later, Regel's troops are a living graveyard, his knights buried under a layer of wiggling and buzzing beasts. The rasping, mumbling, and buzzing of the swarm paralyze the soldier's will. Poisonous mandibles cut through armor and bone. The swarm could scour an entire army from the face of Galarian. These modest forces present no obstacle. No matter what strategy the mortals choose, it is impossible to resist the eternal hunger of the abyss. Vescavors are its embodiment, no malevolent mind or terrible monster, but a million half-sentient creatures who know no goal but destruction. An effective weapon for those prepared to trade fertile soil for wasteland. A chance yet remains for the commander to save his people, at least some portion. What will the leader decide? So there's a mechanic in this area. Well, I guess there's kind of a timer, but not a literal timer. As there's loot off to the sides, and if you grab that loot, the timer ticks down, and you'll take a bigger hit to your morale in the crusade.
We should move.
Let's go ahead and redo this real quick. In fact, I'll probably mount land on Sunshine here.
Are we in trouble yet?
Actually, no, I won't. Spots of light and shadow dance along the walls of the canyon. High above your head, a swarm gathers, dark as a rain cloud. There's so many Vescavors that they block out the sun. Luckily, you've escaped the attention of the swarm, which is focused upon the troops you're using as bait. For now, at least. The tired gesture, Never wipes the sweat and dust from her forehead. There's anxiety in her eyes. Commander, the beast we've come for is on the other end of the main corridor. There's a lot of burrows and plenty of beasts in them. You better not delve too deep. Our people won't hold out long enough for us to clear out the whole area. Or clear the whole area. Keep adding words in. On the other hand, I saw the bodies of some poor caravanners down one of the side holes. Got some valuable stuff on them. The bugs will eat anything we don't grab. They can't tell the difference between flesh and steel. Did you manage to find out where these beasts came from? I'm not sure, but they're clear signs of a ritual closer to the queen bug's lair. And they're fresh. Maybe somebody summoned the scum especially for us. The demon field figured out that we're never going to let Canabris go. Too bad we don't have a magic specialist who can figure out what those runes mean. The words magic specialist bring Nenio out of her reverie. Huh? What? I am a specialist. I'll get to the bottom of this. What happened? Can you tell me anything useful about the monster? I never fought these before, so I don't know much. She's a nasty beast. She spits acid and summons her spawn from all around the area. But one more thing. When I tried to get closer, I started feeling sick as a dog. I guess, like a lot of demons, she knows how to get inside your head. Oh great. Huge, hungry, head-spinning, acid-spitting bugs. And I thought the Crusades were all about the pretty armor and the tasty rations, and sometimes saving beautiful maidens in white dresses from dumb demons. Oh, how interesting. Sounds like a Vescavor queen. An exceedingly rare creature, I must say. I'm looking forward to an encounter to conduct the experiment. The Lord must know what is more dangerous. Mandible snapping shut on one's hand, or acid eating away at one's skin. Sometimes I wonder how you're still alive. Let's move. Good luck. I'm right behind you, covering your back. I'll catch up when it's time to deal with the Queen.
I'm always ready.
So my strategy here is to have Sela tank all the swarms, Land kills them, and then we have Socio and Darren to keep Sela alive. And there's a few fights where the swarms will come from behind us, so I can use Darren's summons to keep them at bay.
It's time to act!
Bright future awaits.
My will is resolute. Doubt is the heart's greatest joy.
Oh, yes, what?
I welcome your company.
Begone, fiend!
I will help where I can.
Meditate on your mistakes. It might make you feel better.
Rely on me.
I'm all ears.
Ah, test of my abilities.
Out of my sight!
Yeah, so that's what we're going to do for every fight.
I'll take care of it.
Let's take it slow, not let anybody else get affected by the swarms.
I am never wrong.
No reason to pause.
Let's prove their logic is lacking.
You've crossed the wrong mongrel.
You should have listened to reason.
I will see to your demise.
The inheritor, guide my blade.
Precision and grace.
Into the fray. The light take you.
Will not back down. Complete your mission, Commander. Who are we talking to? The remains of the caravan camp. The Vescavors have chewed up not only the bodies, but also the tents and the bundles of goods. This man died clutching a small chest to his body. He protected his belongings from the Vescavors to the very end. Now that's the first bit of loot that
I do what I must.
gives us a penalty to the Crusade morale. We got Silky Veil. This robe grants its wearer a +1 dodge bonus to armor class, and a +2 enhancement bonus to attack and damage rolls with unarmed attacks. Only a monk can wear it. Well, luckily, I know a monk.
I'm gone.
I think that's really the only piece of loot that's worth grabbing in this area. We're gonna grab the rest of it anyway, because I like loot.
We will win this war. Lead on.
And the Crusade morale is not really a problem. It's pretty easy to keep in the green.
They will break against our resolve. The Inheritor, guide
I'll make
my
short work of
blade.
You won't survive me.
No glory without risk!
I keep her in the fight as long as we can. What is Land do it? Oh, he is attacking.
Endure this!
This'll leave a bruise.
Are we even hitting them? There's a couple swarms here stacked on top of each other, so
Make
it's hard
every
to tell.
strike count.
I'm alright. I'm alright. Into the fray! This'll leave a bruise.
You've crossed the wrong mongrel.
I'm alright.
Hang in there,
I'm
Sela.
alright.
Some more potions. There's definitely a slower strategy, but it prevents other characters who aren't immune to compulsion effects from being affected. So we've seen Nenio. They get affected by gibbering or gibbering.
You're irrelevant.
The Inheritor,
You
guide
won't
my
survive me.
blade.
Endure this! Make every strike count.
No glory without risk.
Out of my sight!
I'll remove this obstacle. You should have listened to reason.
Oh,
The
That's right.
light.
alright,
Take
pull everybody
you.
back, except for Sela.
The Inheritor, guide my blade.
I will see to your demise. Precision and grace.
Into the fray.
You've crossed the wrong mongrel.
I'll make short work
This'll
of
leave
this.
a bruise.
You won't survive me.
The light take you.
Endure this!
I'm alright. I'm alright. The Inheritor, guide my blade.
Alright. That's one of the worst fights in this area.
We do it my way.
Together we stand.
Let's have
Into
some
the
fun.
fray.
Make every strike count.
Mind over
Out
muscle.
of my sight!
This will leave a bruise.
I'll remove this obstacle.
I'll just sit here.
Alright, stay in the fight,
Don't
Seela.
worry about me. I'm all right. I'm all right.
That was a pathetic heal from Darren. What's going on with that?
This'll leave a bruise. I'll just sit here. Don't worry about me.
Why did he not channel positive energy there? Alright, we kind of have to get everybody else involved here so Seela doesn't get killed.
I'll just sit here. Don't worry about me.
There we go. Yeah, that was kind of a little close.
Follow if you dare.
I found something.
Please, be careful.
Ring of Stitches, it's not very good. Judging by the marks that his nails left in the soft sandstone, this man was still alive when the swarm began to eat him. And Ring of Stitches, this ring grants its wearer immunity to bleed. I don't think that comes up very often. If it does, I haven't noticed. If I remember right, bleed is an effect that can only be cured by a heal spell.
I do what I must.
Anything new?
I was supposed to give that to Lan. Oh well. Not the end of the world.
I will help where I can. The light, take you!
You should have listened to reason.
I want the swarms to engage with Seela, and I'd send my paladin and cleric after the royal guard.
Strike! You should have run!
I will bring down the divine wrath.
In fact, we could even try this.
The Inheritor, guide my blade!
You're irrelevant.
Alright, so far so good. Yeah, a keen short spear plus 2. It's blue here is definitely not worth it. The slime on the wall of the canyon emits a sweet smell, with a sharp hint of freshness, like the air before a storm. The insects are swarming over part of the wall.
I'm gone.
A bright future awaits us.
Crusading isn't that boring after all.
Let's go get some summons out. We can try to get rid of this guy.
You've crossed the wrong mountain.
I'll try it one more time. So he's affected by one more second, then we gotta move him back.
You won't survive me.
This will
Alright, he's gonna get involved anyway.
I call upon you.
I'm gonna keep my animal companion alive as well.
Into the fray!
Don't hold back!
I am playing this a little overcautiously. Lost sunshine there.
We do it my way.
Well, this didn't go well.
Disgusting slime that gives off a vile, rancid smell.
Follow if you dare.
I refuse to accept their
No
statement.
glory without risk!
Precision and grace.
The light take you!
Endure this.
I'll remove this obstacle.
Keep Seal alive as best we can. Alright, let's go ahead and get Socio and Paladin to step in here.
What's that there?
Alright, I believe that's the last piece of loot.
I'm off.
So the Naturalist Armor. This +2 studded leather armor grants its wearer a +2 insight bonus to armor class against the attacks of plants and vermins. I don't know that you fight any plants. I think there's one you could choose to fight in this area. Well, not in this area specifically, but in the campaign.
I do what I must.
And that's the way forward.
Their life ends
Into
here.
the fray!
I'll make short work of this.
I get some summons out here.
Make every strike count.
Out of my sight.
You should have run! I'm gone.
Kind of loops back around. We don't need to go back that way.
Mongrel.
We do it my way.
Let's get a quick save. I only have done that in a little while. The bottom of the canyon is split by a narrow crevice, about one stride across at its widest. It's easy enough to jump over, or in places even step across. The obstacle doesn't seem a problem, or even particularly notable. But as you draw closer, you hear a terrible droning sound coming from the crevice. It seems to be howling, as if it's alive. Look into the crevice. You stare into the darkness of the void, trying to make out where the strange sound is coming from. Not all at once, but your eyes pick out the contours of a body in the darkness. Someone small, perhaps a gnome, a halfling, or a child, rolled up in a ball at the bottom of the chasm under a stone ledge. He's crouched down, his head to his knees, and he's hugging his legs tightly. It appears to be one of the caravanners caught by the swarm. He's crying aloud, one continuous tone, and it strengthens as it echoes through the crevice, building to something truly haunting. I can't see very clearly from here. I'm sure that poor lad won't last long without help. But every moment we delay, our people will suffer terribly. Jalen saved me from such choices. Call out to the crying man. Answering your voice, the caravaner looks up. That's a young halfling. The light coming from the above reveals a pale, wounded face. Vescavors still wriggle in the poor fellow's eye sockets. A moment later, the halfling drops his head again and continues to cry. He hasn't the strength to do more. We can't abandon him. He's still alive, and the living must be saved. If only I had a rope, I'd pull him out in no time. I try to help the caravaner get out. Not without effort, he managed to clamber down to the bottom of the crevice, tie the halfling with a rope, and pull him up. He doesn't resist, but he's little help either, dangling helplessly like a puppet. The Vescavors inhabiting his eye socket seem to have eaten their fill, and you easily pull them out and crush them. The victim sits on the ground and continues to cry, and the sound begins attracting unwanted attention. You hear the humming of disturbed Vescavors above. A mass of them separates from the main swarm and flies toward you.
Do not fear! Do not waver! The inheritor!
You should have listened to reason.
So I'm going to try and burst down that group there. I need stagger for the first round. Try and tie that group up with more undead.
Fall!
The halfling you pulled from the crevice didn't move at all as you fought the onslaught of Vescavors. He's still lying on the floor crying. Heal the poor lad. I'll heal you and come back for you later. Magic can heal the caravaner's wounds, but not his mind. For now, there's nothing more you can do for him. He seems scarcely aware of your help, and his crying and shrieking continues. A moment later, you hear another scream from overhead. Leaning precariously over the ledge of the crevice above, one of your men falls to the bottom and dies upon the rocks. The other soldiers, now serving as bait, are up there desperately fighting for their lives. And yours. The caravaner you saved is lying on the rocks and not moving. So he's part of a quest and achievement later on. Along with two other people, one of which we've met already.
We should move.
Oh, the waiting's never fun.
My skills are absolute.
No reason to pause.
The goddess protects us.
Are we ready to move out?
Where's she at? There she is.
Follow if you dare.
We will win this war.
Search for the beauty with your heart, not
It's
your
time
eyes.
to act!
You won't
You are my
survive
favorite
me.
aid.
Rules are made to be broken.
We won't fall here.
I swear it.
And voila! Unleashing your last shriek, the Storm Queen slumps to the ground. Immediately, as if by magic, the distant sounds of battle begin to subside. Several small beasts sit on their mother's body, sinking their mandibles into it. The canyon drowns in the waves of scent, a sweet, soporific with a hint of bite, like the crackle in the air before a storm. I can't breathe. I need some fresh air. Get me out of this disgusting hole. Agreed. Mind you, I've had cause to see holes a good deal more disgusting than this in my time. Darren laughs suggestively, but they are few and far between. Sela looks at Darren in confusion. A second later bursts into giggles. Have the fumes gone to your head count? Look at you, cracking jokes like the worst kind of bawd. I've been taught to see beauty in the most unexpected places, but this creature is simply disgusting, no matter how you look at it. Land looks askance at the queen's carcass. The mongrels in the caves under Canabras could eat that, I guess. Nevia approaches the swarmed queen's body. Her face clearly expresses a desire to kick the dead beast, but she refrains. Just a brainless bug, and so many of our people died because of her. Just yesterday, I was sitting by the fire with some of the people the swarm devoured. Suddenly, Nevia stops. Her nostrils flare and her eyes scan the floor and the walls of the canyon. She squats, pokes at some lumps of slimy substance, lifts some up to look more closely, smells them, and cringes. Nevia, is something worrying you? Aha! Nevia rubs a ball of greenish slime in her hand. I bet my life that your gear had this nasty stench when we were entering the canyon. I saw the queen bug spraying it around to summon her spawn to her. By the way, did you know that smells are extremely effective in attracting attention not only in the insect world? For example, a tavern keeper in Canabras can, for 10 minutes, purposefully and doggedly search for a rotten fish that turns out to be in the pocket of his apron. Let's see if we can find the source of that smell among my equipment. You and Nevia search through your things and quickly find the source of the smell. A thin handkerchief. Looks like it's been soaked in something like the Swarm Queen slime. I'll be darned. When the queen was spraying this sweet-smelling goop around, the swarm flew to it like flies to jam. The chewed-up bodies of the caravanners smelled like this too. I checked. Commander, I think some rat planted that handkerchief on you, to ensure that the Vescavors would find you. Looks like I have enemies in Mendev, and someone has decided to get rid of me. Well, I don't know, maybe not. The demons did this. They placed a swarm in our way and made sure I couldn't avoid the ambush. I agree. They never expected a defeat in Canabras, nor a quick march to Dresden. Now they're throwing everything they can at us to stop our advance, including their oversized pet bugs. Nevia cringes. Anyway, we need to keep our eyes open. The handkerchief could have been planted here by magic, but take it from a professional paranoiac. I think we've got a rat in our camp. In Canabras, we squashed the cultists time and time again, but they were like maggots in a dead hog. Some could have infiltrated our forces too. We have to keep our eyes open and our guard up. It's time we got back to our people. I say we destroy the queen's body. I've heard the little bugs who eat the flesh of their mother can be reborn as swarm queens themselves. That's kind of the last thing we need, right? Fine, Nevia. Get rid of the beast's body. Option 2 is required for one of these secret mythic paths, and that you don't unlock till Act 5. We've already squandered that one by taking Queen Galfrey with us. Great. Cleaning up after a fight is just what I like. We'll start here, and little by little, we'll clean up the entire world wound. Nevia, Commander, what a relief. You're alive. I saw the swarm begin to thin and ran to you immediately. She pauses to catch her breath. Reginald approaches and salutes briefly, showing no sign of annoyance or irritation. The distraction maneuver is performed as planned. Our losses were significant. My tactics turned out to be less than optimal. I'm glad that's over. What happened up there can't be described in words, but you're the one who carried the day, Donald. There are many dead and wounded. To be honest, I feared the whole army was about to scatter. We've been in the whirlwind for such a short time, and already we've run into so much trouble. What matters is that it's over. In war, losses are inevitable. You need to be prepared for that. Oh dear, Nura shivers. What are we going to do now? Since you're here, please take a look around. I found some painted runes and the traces of something that seemed like a ritual. We need to figure out what this is. Huh, easily done. Nura leans over the magic symbols painted on the stone. I'm no mage, unfortunately. I'm in the habit of thoroughly documenting all descriptions of rituals and symbols from magic books, especially demonic ones. Someone very recently opened a portal to the abyss here, and summoned someone. It's not difficult to figure out who they summoned. She's lying dead right there. I can guess who carried out the ritual. Handwriting is unique, even when it comes to runes. I examined the Great Garrison after your success, documenting everything I found for Queen Galfrey. I'm sure that the hand that drew the rune circles was the same in both instances. It's the work of the same spellcaster. Looks like the spellcaster's afraid of us and dares not fight us openly. Of course he's afraid. Nothing he can set on us will ever be scarier than the swarm. He's just played his last hand, and lost. Well, since we finish off the swarm and we know someone is giving us trouble, I suggest we get out of here. I'm done with bugs. We could swap out for someone else. Let me think. Yeah, we shouldn't need Darren anymore. We'll bring Ulbrich back. And Woljif. A huge runic circle has been drawn on the rock, probably with blood.
I'm off.
Oops, meant to grab that. Alright, another composite shortbow. Hunter's Assurance. Whenever the wielder of this +3 bleed composite shortbow confirms a critical hit with it, the enemy suffers a -1 penalty to armor class until the end of combat. Multiple applications of this effect stack. From a +1 to a +3. So technically the shortbow of code is a +2, or at least on attack rolls against most of the enemies that we face. But it's still worse than a +3. Also, that bleed effect always reminds me of the weapon effects from Dungeon Siege 2. What it looks like there. Alright, so we could just leave this area, but we're going to descend down here next time. After we rest up.
Must be nice back home now. I bet my niece is growing so big. My family. I miss all of them so much.
Alright, I'm gonna call it here. Next time we'll go down here and explore. There's a couple of very important items in that area. Alright, but for now, thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next one.